What's up? A to Z Sports Live on a Monday. Another losing Monday for the Tennessee Titans, falling to 2-7 to the hands of the Los Angeles Chargers. The final score 27-17, but it was a 17-point game there until late in the fourth quarter when Will Levis threw his second touchdown pass of the day to Calvin Ridley. And a lot of problems are showing up again and again and again for this 2-7 Titans team. So we'll discuss Will Levis's return as Titans quarterback here later in the show, but also a controversial call at the end of the first half flipped the game because the Titans in real time looked like they were about to take a 14-13 halftime lead with a fumble forced by Jeffrey Simmons on Justin Herbert, and Roger McCreary picks it up and runs it into the end zone with like 12 seconds left in the game. It was overturned by the replay booth. We will discuss the controversial call. We will hear Brian Callahan's opinions on the controversial call there. But good morning, everybody. Let's get this thing off and rolling as the Titans drop to 2-7. Would that have changed the game? That controversial call? Maybe, maybe not. We'll talk about that. Then the age game as we continue. The script is flipped on Zach where I present him with a person. He has to guess their age. We'll see if he can go 0 for 54 or whatever I did before I got a win. Right now, you're like, 0 for 2, right? So
0 for 2. So, well on my way.
Yep, for sure. All right, Zach. So let's get this thing rocking and rolling, but tell people what they got to do here first.
Yep. A lot to talk about today after what we saw yesterday afternoon, Titans-Chargers, and Jim Harbaugh having some more success in the NFL. So we'll dive into that. We are broadcasting live on 3 different platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We will tweet out segment by segment, link by link, that YouTube link right there on our Twitter at A to Z Sports. So at ATOZ Sports. If you're a Titans fan, if you're an NFL fan all around, make sure you follow us at A to Z Sports NFL. That's our other Twitter handle. So we got you locked in right there. Easiest way to take part in these live shows, whether it's the morning, whether it's prime time or the game day shows, make sure you have your live notifications on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, A to Z Sports Nashville, hit the subscribe button, and that will do that job. And if you've already subscribed, make sure you like this video. It helps the distribution on YouTube, get more Titans fans and NFL fans alike into the show, get the conversation rolling to get everyone's opinions. So YouTube, easiest way to make that happen. Make sure you subscribe. Having some software with our streaming software, and Zuckerberg, I don't know whether there's a connection between Facebook and our streaming software. Facebook user. There's a lot of Facebook users today. We will try to navigate that. But if you're not on Facebook, that's your prerogative. If you are on Facebook, make sure you share the show. Bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing, as we say on this show. Share the show around so we pop up in your Facebook friends' news feed, and we will get started here shortly on a Monday, a 2-7 Monday, as the Titans continue to trend down. But let's get this thing going.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. We are Nashville's on-demand sports network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans by getting a health quote today, fbhp.com/ATOZ. And TDOT, join their forces to help keep Tennessee beautiful and clean up the litter with NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. So yes, Facebook users are all over the feed. So I'm going to try to do my best. I've got Facebook pulled up on my computer on a different tab. So I'm going to try to see, I know that Roy, this is Roy White. I want to see the frame that told him to overturn it. So I will just try to do my best to cross-reference as much as we can with some comments there. But Facebook is working through that. I reached out with help center platforms over the weekend, and it's a Facebook issue that's above my pay grade. So we'll let Zuckerberg and whoever's at in control over
no one.
Yeah, we'll find out.
No one is. That's confirmed.
We'll find out. We'll find out. All right. So The Titans do lose 27-17, the final score. Man, look good early, right? Titans take a 7-3 lead when Will Levis hits Calvin Ridley for a 41-yard touchdown, take a 7-3 lead. And then we'll get to the controversy that was the end of the half because Roger McCreary returns what looked like and what was called a fumble in the field back for a touchdown that could have the Titans up 14-13 at halftime. But the Titans were down 13-7 at halftime and got the ball back to start the second half. So there was opportunity to create a game still, even with that overturned call. So let's get to Brian Callahan to get his overview of this game and what happened, what went wrong for the Titans to be at 2-7. And Brian Callahan, the Titans head coach, really picks it up on the second half kickoff where the Titans got the ball.
We go down an opening kickoff, go down there in scoring position, don't convert a third down. You have to score touchdowns in the red zone in a game like this where we knew the possessions would be limited. We kick a field goal. We got points on the board, kick the ball back off. We end up give up a big return in the plus territory. They punch the ball in and score 7. We get the ball back. I think we get a first down or 2, but ultimately end up in a 3rd and long. We had another penalty, false start. Operation wasn't good enough today. And then we had to punt the ball. So we punt it, and we pin them down on the 5-yard line. Great coverage, great rush, all the things that we want. They're on the 5-yard line. Then they go 95 yards for a touchdown. And ultimately, that was the game. That was the swing, the kickoff to the touchdown, to the punt, to the 95-yard drive. Didn't bow up at any point. Didn't play well enough in any phase to win the game, and didn't complement each other well. So that's how you lose games on the road to good physical football teams. Tip of the cap to them. They played well. They were physical. They were the more physical team today, which is not one of the first times I've had to say that this year. And, in a low possession game, we need to score touchdowns, and we didn't. We were, I think, one of 3 or 1 of 4 in the red zone. We gave up too many sacks at the end of the day. We're holding the ball a little bit too long in some of those, and some of those are, guys get beat, and that happens, but too many negative plays in the second half where it didn't allow us to be on game script and on schedule. And that team in 3rd and 7 plus is, I think they've let up 6 conversions all year long, and we weren't going to be any one of them there in that situation. So tough. Still, guys played hard. We still kept fighting. But at the end of the day, we didn't have enough complimentary football and didn't play well enough.
So there's Brian Callahan. I mean, it's a pretty good overview, pretty good synopsis of the second half. Yes.
But he tells you that every week of why they lost.
I know.
This is the theme. We watch. I'm not jumping on you. I'm sitting here stating what we just heard. He does this quite too often, and that eventually is going to wear thin. We watched the game, Coach. We know how you guys lost. I think what fans are trying to figure out is how do you win, right? 95 yards, yes, is telling. 1 for life in the red zone. Yes, you can't win games, but what are the key pieces of how you guys turn this thing around and be more consistent? I think I'm not saying this singular after today's game, but it will start to wear thinner and thinner and thinner as the season goes on, as we diagnose things, but we don't see a lot of change.
What do you want them to do? That's what the post-game press conference is for. It's for the coach to come out and say, here's where things went wrong because we lost the game. Or after a win, hey, want to point out a couple things that popped out like he did last week. It's the opening statement of a post-game press conference. What else do you want the head coach to say? That's what every head coach does across the league, whether they're good or bad, whether they win or lose.
But
come out
my point is
statement
they're
of
the
what happened
same.
in the game.
It's consistent.
And then they answer
the same problems.
Okay, because they keep losing because they're a bad team, Zach.
That's the criticism. That's the point.
Are you criticizing his post-game press conference for saying what happened?
No, I'm criticizing that they're a bad team.
Okay, that's fine.
The point that the Titans are a bad team, and this is I'm acknowledging that this is those type of things that start to wear thin.
I think it's something that doesn't need to. He's not trying to convince. He's not trying to not wear thin. Losing wears thin. Losing wears thin. Whether he talks about the post-game,
that's where the criticism comes from.
This is dumb. It's dumb criticism. It's irrelevant criticism. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
This is where we disagree. I think it matters.
Losing wears thin, not the coach's words on the opening statement of a press conference. Obviously, the same problems are frustrating. He is acknowledging the problems. So media, not you, but so media can't just say, well, you didn't bring that up, coach. He's addressing things off the top of a press conference where he then answers questions immediately after a game. That's the whole point of it. Not to say it's wearing thin or not. It is irrelevant in the overall big picture of what he does. Like it is irrelevant. The loss is the most relevant thing that continues to wear thin. It does not matter. Your criticism is irrelevant in this situation.
It's not, because it paints a deeper picture.
Okay.
That's the point.
No, it is pointless, because the point is they're a bad football team and they lost. He's addressing things that went wrong. He is correct. They don't know how to play complementary football. They do things that go bad at the wrong spot. They get penalized. That kicks them out of good field goal range for a long field goal, and they miss it. So anyway, now that we're fully derailed, neither of us did the post-game show yesterday. So what would have been your one word to describe that Titans loss yesterday, overall, big picture?
Complete. A complete Titans loss. They were never going to win that game. And on the other side, Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, a complete Chargers win. I felt like in the second half, the Chargers played a playoff type game in the sense of dominating the better football team, withhold possessions, not let the offense do really pretty much anything in the second half. The back end score at the end of the game was irrelevant, right? It was dominating. And so I would say complete, because I felt like the Chargers, you can tell a difference of where the Chargers are. Like, the Chargers are not the Chiefs or the Lions of what we saw last night, when the Lions play a bad game, but they're so damn good that they come back and win. Good coaching, that also matters. But the Chargers are far and away, there is a wide margin for between the Chargers and the Titans. Obviously, we saw that. But I felt like in the second half, I don't know what Jim Harbaugh said, and we'll talk about the play, obviously, right before the half, which was a bullet dodged, however you want to describe it. But Jim Harbaugh got the most out of his team in a complete way. And I felt like defensively, whether they were getting after Will Levis, whether it was offensively marching down the field, that's how I saw that game. The line was going to be too low, whatever it was going to be. So that's my assessment of yesterday. And that, I think, it's demoralizing. I mean, coming off of a win against the New England Patriots, right? We all kind of know that happens. But you get punched in the mouth, and it's a clear gap of where the Titans are and probably where the rest of the league is, especially the Chargers not being the best team in the NFL, but they're being a competitive team handling their business in a complete way.
All right, so my one word is I'm going to go full, like, terrifying jungle analogy, because the Titans got strangled yesterday, and that's my one word, strangled, because the Chargers were the boa constrictor and the Titans were the prey. And it wasn't quick. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't just sudden, right? It was a slow, just constricting and strangling of this team until the clock hit 000. That's exactly what happened yesterday. There was death by 1,000 paper cuts. It was 95-yard drives all the way down the football field. It was only giving the Titans 4 possessions in the first half that really mattered, or 4 possessions in the second half. Because the Chargers, how about this? In the second half, Brian Callahan explained the Titans get the ball in the second half. They go down there, kick a field goal. Then they give up a big drive to the Chargers, touchdown. Then they punt after a couple first downs. Then they have 95 yards. All right, the Titans pin them back. So the Chargers, in those 2 back-to-back touchdown drives in the second half, the Chargers went 18 plays for 130-plus yards in almost 12 minutes of game clock. Over. It is done. Like, and they bled the Titans out. They strangled them to death. They boa constricted around that whatever rodent you want to call in the jungle and ate their dinner. And they had a great time. And they probably took a food coma nap afterwards.
Well, no, they gave each other high fives. I don't know if you saw that in the postgame. Jim Harbaugh had everybody in the Chargers locker room give each other a high five.
I mean, that's what Jim Harbaugh would go around and just share high fives. Yeah, give me some skin, right? That's what Jim Harbaugh would say. Give me some skin, right? So no, they strangled the Titans, and the Titans had no way to break out. They were toast. They were suffocated. They were done. There was no escape from that boa constrictor that was the Chargers yesterday. So There was an opportunity, though, early until you got caught, right? And it was Justin Herbert trying to get some points at the end of the first half. At this point, the Chargers were up 13-7 with under a minute to go, and Jeffrey Simmons gets pressure on Herbert. There is a fumble while he's throwing. Roger McCreary picks it up, runs it in for a touchdown. Nice return there. And the scoreboard read 14-13 Titans. Well, I guess 13-13 before the extra point. It goes into review because everything is reviewed. So we're going to hear what I thought was an interesting string of comments from head coach Brian Callahan about the fumble that was then overturned to an incomplete pass. And the Titans did not get that touchdown. It was wiped off the board. So we're going to hear from Brian Callahan. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, just like in football, you have to have people you can trust and people you can turn to. And that is the experts at the Bone and Joint Institute that also have all of the resources under one roof off I-65 and Highway 96 in Franklin, right next to Williamson Medical Center. They've got you covered just like they've had me covered and taken care of for the couple of injuries I've dealt with over the last few years. Online to book an appointment, they make it really easy for you, boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports, we are powered by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. The sportsbook Born in Vegas is in Tennessee, so you can get in on the action. ATOZ Sports, all one word, no spaces, is the bonus code for new users. You get great opportunity and deals there. They've got promo, they've got boosts, they got opportunities for the NBA. Got Monday Night Football tonight, Rams, Dolphins. Had a really good day yesterday on the books, and that's thanks to BetMGM. You can get a part of that action by signing up. Download the app today in your Apple and Android app store.
All right, Zach. So the Roger McCreary fumble recovery touchdown right before the end of the half that would have had the Titans up 14-13 at half with getting the ball back was overturned by the officials. I don't have a lot of kind things to say about the Fox broadcast, but while we're all watching on our TVs, commercial, we come back. Oh, guess what? It's been overturned. Okay, cool. Thanks. Now the Chargers have the ball, and we don't really get that much of an explanation and never really heard it from the official. So let's hear from Brian Callahan on what his perspective was of the overturned fumble right before the end of the first half.
I thought it was going to stand on the field. They initially told me that it was going to stand, and they took another look at it as I walked away. And then as I came back, they told me it was going to be overturned. And that was all the explanation I got. I'll let you guys decide what you think the call should have been, but I don't want to lose any money.
If he's pushing the ball with his hand, is that technically, to your understanding, still a forward pass?
I'm not sure. I don't know what the ruling of a forward pass is right now. I'm not too sure.
Same official who said it was going to stand come to you and tell you they were going to change it?
Yeah.
He give you any reason why?
No, he did not.
How much of a swing was that? And
yeah, it was critical momentum swing at the end of the half to score a touchdown on defense. Haven't done that all year long, and to get a chance to put 6 on the board on defense and right before the half on a mistake that they made was huge for momentum. We were getting the ball back. Yeah, it was a huge momentum turning play, which I feel like we've had a lot of those this year that haven't gone our way. And that's sort of what happens when you're not playing well enough. Is it all the plays that you make feel so critical, and when they get taken away, they hurt. And that was a big momentum swing for us.
I mean, it was big momentum swing because we'll get to in a second of what would have happened, but we need to focus on what happened with this call. So in real time, I heard Jonathan Vilma, maybe his not worst comment of the day. Jonathan Vilma said, "Oh, that's a fumble," right on the broadcast. Zach, in real time, did you think that was a fumble?
Absolutely.
Same. I think in real time, everybody thought it was a fumble, and then it all of a sudden was not. This is the back and forth with the pool reporter who was assigned to the game and the vice president of instant replay, Mark Butterworth, no relation to Mrs., with the question, what was the basis of the call on the field and then overturned in the second quarter? Butterworth, quote, the on-field officials ruled that it was a fumble recovered by the defense and for a touchdown. All scoring plays are under the jurisdiction of the replay booth in New York. We stopped the game as there was a significant question as to whether his hand was coming forward with the ball. Once we went into review, all we need is the hand moving forward with control of the ball. So we ended up overturning it to an incomplete pass. Question. You did believe the quarterback had control of the ball as he pushed forward? Butterworth, yes. When his hand was moving forward, he had control. It was tight, and we were going frame by frame, and as his hand was moving forward, he had control and then lost it, so we overturned it to an incomplete pass. Question, what was the angle when you guys were deciding the overturn? Because the two that were shown on the scoreboard, one from behind the quarterback and one from the sideline, at least from the video review on the scoreboard, it didn't look conclusive, so what angle did you guys use? Butterworth. We were going through angles, and there was an enhanced angle from the broadcast that we could see hand coming forward. Again, we were going frame by frame, and the hand was coming forward with control of the ball, and then he lost control of the ball. So, Zach, how do you feel about the explanation from Mark Butterworth there on the overall replay process?
So I'm okay with the explanation because the explanation aligns with their overturned call, right? I mean, it supports that. My issue, and this is where the difference of opinions come into play, is I felt like from I'll just call it the terrible views that the viewer had, right? They did not give the viewer, I think, the best angles like they would on a traditional America's Game broadcast or a Tony Romo called broadcast or a Sunday Night Football called broadcast or a Monday Night Football called broadcast or a Thursday Night Football called broadcast. So the ref was in the way because it was a back video, and the back ref, the back judge, was in the way of the frame. That does not help overturn the call. Here is where I disagree with Mr. Butterworth.
No S.
I disagree because I felt like Justin Herbert never had control. That's the key word. And he said control in a lot of what you just relayed.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt like he had control as the ball was moving forward and then lost control. I felt like he lost control and then the ball was jettisoned forward. That also aligns with the call initially on the field. And as we know, that is the standard. Now, we had a pre-show call, and a lot of people were watching Sam and Easton yesterday. And Sam's thought process, which is not incorrect by any means, is the refs are taught that when a turnover happens, let it play out because you can use replay to your advantage. So it's kind of a safety net to a degree.
Yep.
But I still felt like Jeffrey Simmons forced Justin Herbert to lose control of the football. His arm was going forward, but I never felt like he had full control, which would then yield a fumble of the football, which would then yield the call on the field should stand. I don't think it should have been confirmed, but it should have stood. That is my takeaway from the play.
Yeah. Oh, look, I backing up. I agree with Sam. That is what the official should do, is allow the technology to help them, right? Allow the technology to help them. Let a bang, bang play turnover continue so you can go fix it later. If you blow it dead, you can't go back and fix it. So all of that is correct. I also think that there has to be like clear and obvious evidence on the video that you can overturn the call there.
That
and
he had control, right?
Yes.
It's the quarterback with control of the football. The tuck rule. I mean, we know we've watched a lot of football.
We've seen it
right?
so many times. And I don't think that there was any conclusive evidence that they had that Justin Herbert remained in control of that football and threw it forward. I just
Especially, and I think this also matters, is this was not a traditional way of throwing the football, right? We all know how it leaves the finger, right? That is the control. If you ever taught your son how to throw a football, it's that control. That's the point, right? You got to get that right there. That's easier to identify, right? But this was underhand. This was an old Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce moment, right? A shuttle or shovel pass, whichever one you want to conclude, right? But that's why I felt like there was less control of the football by the quarterback.
For sure. I just find this funny. Somebody's saying, oh gosh, where'd the comment go? Daniel, someone at the control screen in New York just yelling, enhance, enhance, enhance. It's like,
but the ref was in the way too.
Here's my thought. Because there was Anthony Malley had a comment on Facebook. I went and cross-referenced that no, this was Anthony Malley. Sometimes we saw the game die frame by frame, and the game isn't meant to be officiated frame by frame. That looked like a fumble, felt like a fumble, should have been a fumble. If it walks like a duck, it's a duck, right? And I agree. And it's the same problem that we have with like the targeting calls or the head-to-head contact. If you slow things down frame by frame, it's always going to look worse, right? Like roughing the passer. Oh, if you slow it down frame by frame, man, he had so much time to not hit the quarterback because they're not playing and making decisions frame by frame. So if you slow things down frame by frame, you're digging too much, right? Like that's not the intent of the replay. It's that they're looking so damn hard to find any justifiable reason that they can say that Justin Herbert had the damn football in his hand. Like that is not the point. They are re-officiating the play at that point and trying so hard to just find anything that they can say, nope, we slowed it down frame by frame. And they think that they're sounding diligent by saying frame by frame. We look so hard at it frame by frame. That's not the point of it. The point of it is, can you find enough evidence, clear and obvious, to overturn the call on the field? The answer should have been no.
Yeah, I don't think there was enough video evidence to overturn the call. It's a bang-bang play. It is razor thin. I don't think we're arguing that. I don't have
a problem with the officials on the field. Like those guys I find a problem here with the replay booth in New York. The replay booth in New York. And guess what? It opens the door for all different types of, conspiracy theories, because once it goes back to mission control, oh man, the LA team with Jim Harbaugh is on the ropes here. They're 5-3 against a really bad team that nobody cares about.
I'm just saying. Out on that.
Let me finish.
You started.
But that's what it does. That's what mission control creeps into everybody's mind. And we all know what our society is when it comes to conspiracy theories these days.
Yeah,
if you open the door for doubt, then people will take it. That is the point. If you open the door for doubt, people will take it. I'm not buying that, but people will.
So it's not even worth saying, because I think that
it is worth saying. Because
no, it's not. Because you're sitting there. What you're doing is you're insinuating that the league office wants certain things to happen, and my friend, Austin, that is a dangerous thing to say.
Here's what I'm doing
for the NFL football. I don't approve of that. I don't endorse that, and I think that that's a low hanging fruit that you're trying to do.
Well, here's what makes me feel comfortable saying that, because Brian Callahan said the referee came up to him and said, yeah, it's going to stand. And then they walked away and they come back. Oh, it's going to be overturned. They looked at it again. So it seemed like why would a referee on the field tell the head coach that it's going to stand? And then hold on. Then the referee should not tell anybody it should stand if it's not done. Don't say anything. Or they said, let's go back and look at that one more time, after they had already kind of made a decision, because they had already told Brian Callahan what was going to happen. That's why it's in a bad spot here.
I just think that you shouldn't say that, because there are so many different circumstances. So let's talk about football, right? And this actually ended up the other way. If you watch the Commanders-Steelers game, at the end of the game, they fumbled on the 1-yard line. The Steelers did, where you could have argued that it should have been blown dead because forward progress no longer happened, right? But they let it play out, and the Commanders got it on the 1-yard line. Oh, well, the Commanders versus Steelers. The Steelers are the heritage foundation, not the Commanders, especially, what they're called now. You can come up with a conspiracy for anything. Zach Ertz, was he short? Was he half a yard? Was his knee down? I just think that you sitting there saying that is a bad look, I think.
Okay.
You're opening up doubt that the league insinuates that it's rigged, and I think that that's BS. Because if it was rigged, the Dallas Cowboys would have won a Super Bowl in the last 20-plus years.
Did I say it's rigged? Did I say it's rigged?
You're insinuating it.
Okay.
Are you not?
I'm insinuating that good teams in bigger markets get favorable calls. That's happens rigged. All the time. That happens all the time in sports.
That's what you're insinuating.
Good teams get calls. Bad teams don't get calls. Good players get calls in basketball, don't they? Good quarterbacks get calls. Bad quarterbacks don't. That happens all the time.
This was not one of them. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this was not one of them.
We both agree that the call should have stood. So why isn't it?
They got the call wrong, but they didn't get the call wrong because they love the Los Angeles Chargers.
I think
that's what you're insinuating, and that's where I'm disagreeing.
They literally told the Tennessee Titans head coach, "Yeah, it's going to stand," and then they went back and looked at it again, and then they changed their mind.
You can be your conspiracy theorist all you want. I disagree.
All right, so let's get to the reality of this. And now you got Gene on YouTube saying that I'm inciting violence. Like this.
That's over. All that stuff's over. We don't do that BS.
So now let's go to this question. Did the overturned defensive touchdown change the outcome of the game versus the Chargers? So let's set that up for you guys. Did the overturned touchdown change the outcome of the game? Because to reset, the touchdown by McCreary would have put the Titans up 14-13, and then the Titans would have gotten the ball immediately to start the second half with a lead. They end up getting the ball to start the second half and make it a 13-10 game. Then the Chiefs score back-to-back touchdowns, making it 27-10. Game basically over. Trash time touchdown by the Titans make it 27-17. So would that have changed the outcome of the game? We'll get to everybody's thoughts here. I'll put up a YouTube poll as well. Zach, tell everybody about our friends at Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Yeah, then I'm going to get to Mike Peck's comment, because this is the funniest thing. Mike must not have watched the show. So we'll get to Mike here in a second. We'll get to Farm Bureau Health Plans right now, though. FBHP.com/ATOZ is where to go to get your health plan. Mike, you can get your health plan. We'll deal with you here in a second. Health, Dental, and Vision, 200-plus locations across the state of Tennessee. 75 years they've been in business. If you're in the state of Tennessee, you get a health plan. Mike may need a health plan after this. Perfect place where to go is Farm Bureau Health Plans. FBHP.com. Health, dental, and vision. They do it all. That's the best part. You take a health assessment, you get a quote. Once you get a quote, you may actually get an opportunity to decide. There's not you will. You don't have to do it, but if you get a quote, you may compare that to your current health plan and be like, man, this is actually better coverage at a better rate with a better brand. I may go Farm Bureau Health Plans of Tennessee. They've been helping Tennesseans, like I said, for over 75 years. Health, dental, and vision, FBHP.com/ATOZ.
All right, with BetMGM, you can go big with your first bet. BetMGM is the sportsbook born in Vegas. You sign up for the first time with our code ATOZ Sports. Go big with your first bet because you get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if that first bet misses. They've also got odds boost tokens that go out for pro football every weekend. I used one of them, Zach. Man, so close. Will Levis over 85.5 yards was minus 115. I used my odds boost to make it plus 104, 105. And
185?
185.5. He got 175. It looked good in that first drive. I was thinking, hey, 450-something yards. I'm like, okay, we're on the right track here. But it's okay. It's okay. You miss some, you win some, you lose some with that. But with BetMGM, you can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if that first bet misses, but only when you sign up with our code ATOZ Sports. I did put up a YouTube poll. We'll get to the results of that here in a second, and also your answers on did the overturned defensive touchdown change the outcome of the game versus the Chargers? But apparently Mike did something.
Mike doesn't know the show, and it's clear and concise. So the conspiracy theorists, you can sit there up on the grass, you can do whatever you want, right? But Mike brings up that Zach, at least he spelled my name right, needs an apostrophe, am a sheep. Mike, I am the opposite of a mother effing sheep. You don't know. I am not a sheep. I'm not the follower in this conversation of that. I just am not going to sit here and call that the little small market team is not getting the calls because they value Los Angeles, the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, and Justin Herbert because they want to see them make a playoff run and win a Super Bowl. I'm just not going to buy it. They felt like he had control. Whether you like Butterworth or not, they actually backed up the call of why they're reasoning. I disagree with it. You disagree with it, Austin. I think we are aligned there. But I am no sheep in this conversation of just toting the line, trying to say that I do not believe that the NFL is rigged. And Mike, you may be, but I am not.
And I don't either.
But you insinuated that.
Hold on, time out. No, chill. No, you're taking what I'm saying that way. So let me clarify things because Zach Geringer says Austin's so right, regardless of that point. But Zach Geringer makes this. The difference between being rigged and never getting calls to go your way, that there is a difference. And I'm not saying the NFL is rigged. I'm not one of those people that think that there's a script, even though that's one of the funniest jokes out there that people can do. But like, I think that the NFL and sports leagues across everything, there is an inherent bias in brands and big brands. Like Duke gets calls, right? We know that. Alabama football. Look at yesterday. Heather Dinich said on ESPN.com that Alabama can get in the playoff at 9-3. But then her colleague sitting right next to her says, yeah, Tennessee is not going to get in unless they go 11-1. Like there's a bias in sports over the entirety of the big picture there.
That was on ESPN.
That was on ESPN.
Yeah, of course. That's what ESPN does. But they also fund the show First Take. So also understand that.
I understand that. That's just a relevant example that happened 24 hours ago. There's bias all over the place. Tom Brady gets calls that Cam Newton doesn't. Remember that whole controversy back 10 years ago? Like
crying poor because you think the Titans are a small market team.
No, I'm not. I'm saying
that's why they didn't get the call. Isn't that what you were insinuating?
I think that the referees went back and looked at it. Like, let's just look one more time. Because the Chargers are a better football team, and the Chargers, with their people, get the benefit of the doubt for the extra look. They do.
Chargers, give me a break. I think that's
okay. Anyway, let's get to the
irresponsible. I think that would be saying that to call a call based on a market is irresponsible of you to say of an NFL league. I just don't buy that. That's a conspiracy.
I think good teams in bigger markets get the benefit of the doubt a lot in sports. And by the league, by the referees.
Then the Steelers should have called forward momentum, stop,
and
they would have gotten
Commanders, like that's fairly even. It's because you've got
it's not. The Steelers are a legacy brand. Are you kidding me?
I don't want to dive into that because
they're different.
You're taking what I'm saying way too
because
far.
I don't think you should have said it. I think it's ridiculous.
All right, so let's move forward then, right? Did the Titans overturn defensive touchdown change the outcome of the game versus the Chargers? If you answer yes, you feel like the Titans would have won the game. If you say no, then you think the Chargers would have still won the game. So did the defensive touchdown overturned change the result outcome of the game? So Zach, there's a lot of comments flying in about a bunch of different conversations at this point. So I don't know if you'll be able to find specific answers to the question from it being posted 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of Facebook users, as we've told you, the software is messed up. So Duran says no. Yes from Jesse. Absolutely not from Commander Shepard. I don't know if he's a Commander fan right there. Facebook user no. Bradley no. American Toff 100% no. Facebook yes. Zach yes. No, the Titans were going to lose regardless from that Facebook user. Steve Jones says no. Daniel says yes. Absolute momentum shift. Rashid says yes. There's another Facebook user says nope. Brandon definitely yes, only because it made the defense quit. Nathan says no, but it killed the momentum 100%. So saying yes. John says yes. Facebook says absolutely it did. DeMarco said yes. It contributed. So Willie Jeans doesn't necessarily answer. I mean, it contributed. I think that's why we want a yes or no question. Abso-freaking-lutely not from Facebook user. Again, software issue, so we don't know who that is. Hopefully that will be fixed this week. Curtis, no, not at all. They would have lost. Yes, it did affect the game. Yes, it did from Jay. Weren't going to get past 17 anyway from Duran with momentum. 100% yes from Mike. Christian, for sure, it did. Would have lost from Curtis. So, I mean, I think that it's 50-50. And I saw Jesse says 50-50. I do think that there is a back and forth here with the users.
Yeah. So the YouTube poll that I put up 7 minutes ago is not 50-50. It's 62-38 in favor of yes, it changed the outcome of the game, which surprises me.
What's the key word in that statement?
Did the Titans overturn defensive touchdown change the outcome of the game versus the Chargers?
Yeah. What's the
outcome?
number?
Outcome?
Bingo. Outcome is win or loss. So I think that's how you have to diagnose it, is if you truly believe that singular play and the Titans going up, they would have been up 1 point, 14-13, right?
14-13 with the ball.
I think that's what I would argue, whether they have the ball or they don't have the ball. They're bad.
I mean, that matters. No, 14-13 with a chance to build on the lead. It's a big difference.
Would it change the outcome? Would the Titans have won? So let me ask that. Would the Titans have won the game if the refs in New York weren't completely biased of overturning the call, Austin?
My answer is no. The Chargers would have won the game. It would have been a lot more interesting, though, because like if we just go through, the reality of the game stays the same up until the play that got overturned. And the Titans have a 14-13 lead. Let's say the Titans go down there and put up a field goal again. Now it is 17-13 Titans. Let's just say the Chargers score a touchdown to make it 20-17. Let's say the Titans punt again. The Chargers go on the same 95-yard drive to make it 27-17. There's still now actual time on the clock for the Titans to do something to make it a one-score game, to put something back into life. The clock is tight. The game is tight. I think the Chargers probably win. I think it's probably 27-20 or 27-24. I think it's a closer game. I think the Titans probably covered the spread that was 8 points. So I think it would have changed that outcome. If you're a betting person, there's one outcome that would have changed. But the Chargers would have won the game. The Titans would be 2-7, and the Chargers would be 6-3. But it does make that game very different. And I think why I am frustrated is because, and we'll get to this. I don't know. Well, I'll let you go first. I'll let you answer the question, and then I was about to dive into a different direction. So I'll let you
before I get to my answer. Do you think we landed on the moon?
Okay. I mean,
no, I'm curious.
Yes, I think the United States of America landed on.
All right. If I don't ask, I don't know.
I'm not like you're acting like I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Today you are.
No,
today,
I do think
you've gone into the archives today.
I do think there's bias in sports. That is not the most shocking thing for somebody to say.
If I don't know, I gotta ask.
Did Michael Jordan get favorable calls? Yes, right? That's my
different from an actual replay booth that has multiple people watching it. You think, hey, John, hey, Carl, hey, dude, we need the LA Chargers. We really got to bolster them this year. I mean, they're a huge brand within our league. You know, screw the Titans. He had control, right, Carl?
Exactly.
Hey, Carl, you think that? Yeah, control for sure. Nashville, oh God, they're just about a bunch of bachelorette parties. They don't really matter to this league. Let's call Roger and see if we'll make less money.
Please, I tried to move forward, and you're trying to talk about
because I think it's so ridiculous.
Okay, answer the question here.
No, it doesn't change the outcome of the game. And this is the cold, hard reality. And people are like, oh, and I saw this earlier. I'm not trying to be triggering to Titans fans. This is just a long, hard look in the mirror that the Titans blow. They're awful. They're really, really bad. They're not consistent on defense. They make special team mistakes. They do dumb stuff to hurt their own team. Their offense is putrid besides Tony Pollard. And Calvin Ridley is the only actual adequate player that is valuable in a receiving aspect. Like Tajay Spears is, I think, a good backup. Don't get me wrong. Their offensive line is young and not gelling, and they've got injuries peppering the offensive line. Chigakonkwo is a backup tight end. I mean, that's just kind of what he is, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Titans are bad. We know that. But they did average.
That's what I'm saying is that 7 points before the half does nothing to the outcome of the game. And the outcome is win or loss. I mean, again, we agree in that sense. I actually don't even think it impacts of them covering the spread, because I think the Chargers probably approach the second half differently and don't completely bleed them out. I think they probably put the foot on the gas.
The Chargers do. Zach,
they can't protect Will Levis. Will Levis consistently gets sacked. He makes irresponsible decisions. So I'm saying all of this to answer and to solidify my answer to the question is like, no, this singular overturned call does not change whether the Titans, who are at the bottom 5 of the league currently, beat the Los Angeles Chargers that are well coached and execute pretty well and honestly have better players, right? I mean, the Chargers have a game record in Bosa and Bud Dupree. Talk about that. The old Titan coming off the edge and disrupting. They've got James in the back half. They're just a better constructed football team with a better coach. And those are just the facts.
I mean, yeah, like that's for absolutely. The Titans are an inferior football team to the Chargers. This is how the Chargers win. They are boa constrictors. They are a boa constrictor of the NFL. They dominate time of possession. They limit possessions, plural, in the game, first half, second half. You just don't get the ball a lot. But it did affect how close it was or could have been. And somebody just asked, do y'all not believe in momentum? I am all about momentum. I think momentum should be used and felt. There's a gut feel to making good decisions as a coach. And I think people that are way too far analytical leaning don't use momentum enough to make key decisions. Momentum is important. Knowing the feel of what your team is feeling and the energy is important. And I think the momentum would have swung drastically if the Titans got a touchdown on defense for the first time all season to go up 14-13. Because you know what momentum did to the Titans defense? After the Titans made it 13-10 in the first drive of the second half, they gave up a 54-yard kick return, and the Titans defense is like, what the? And then they give them a touchdown. Like, that's momentum hurting them. So I think momentum does play a factor in this, and I think the Titans, they have a better chance because of what I think about momentum. The Titans offense has a better chance to score a touchdown on the opening drive of the third quarter with a 14-13 lead after a defensive touchdown to end the half. They got pretty close. They got down 4th and 3 inside the 10.
Here's the difference. Here's where I'll push back. Obviously, momentum in sports is the most obvious thing. It definitely impacts. But Austin, how much it impacts is the key. Good football teams, momentum, it can ride. The Detroit Lions last night, if you saw that momentum swing. The Houston Texans did not score a single point in the third and fourth quarters based on a plethora of momentum swinging back towards a really good football team, a well-coached, good offense that was actually having a bad night. But Austin, momentum to a bad football team doesn't impact as much. And that's, I think my point is, that doesn't affect the outcome of the game. Momentum affects a bad team less, that I don't think that the Titans win.
Again, I'm not changing my answer. So somebody, MB says, I agree about momentum, but that doesn't change they would have won or lost. I agree. The Titans would have lost to the Chargers, but we all of us watching would have been way more interested in the fourth quarter than we were yesterday. And that's, I think that does play a factor. And that where I was going to get to, but then I wanted to wait, was I want to see Will Levis play more in high leverage situations. And I think
he's got to put himself in those spots.
without a doubt, I don't disagree, but I just want to see it. I just want to see more Will Levis in high leverage situations so we can judge the it factor on if he's got, I don't believe he's got it, but I still want to see more of it.
But
right?
in all reality, the Titans offense scored 3 points in the second half. That last touchdown was the Chargers ready to go home. I agree like the Titans offensive output in the most important times of a football game, and this is historically this year, is they drop off a cliff. When the lights get bright, they start backing away and they don't produce. And I think that's a product of players, but I also think it's a product of momentum and coach and team. And that's why they're so bad. So, and how do you fix that? I don't think it's fixable this year, to be honest.
No, it's not. It's not. So, and he just says the Titans going up 21-13 the third quarter completely changes that game. Like, yeah, that's interesting, right? And
they don't show you that they can do that.
I mean, there was 3rd and 3 on the Chargers 8-yard line, and they, for whatever reason, threw a fade ball to Josh Wiley. God, what a terrible play call. And Josh Wiley gave very little effort to go do anything, like try to catch the ball or try to actually draw a penalty. But seriously, they got to 3rd and 3 on the 8-yard line, and they settled for a 27-yard field goal. The amount of field goals that Nick Folk has made under 30 yards this year is disgusting. But I think it's I do feel like there's an extra level of confidence if it's 14-13 and you have 3rd and 3 on the 8. I think there is something different about that because you're trying to not.
Here's the inherent problem, though, Austin. If Brian Callahan actually believed in his offense and his team, he's so much more aggressive. And we've seen him be aggressive at times, and that has cost him at times. But that's the doubt that is seeped all over the Titans offense, and that hurts them in the construct of the actual football game that we've seen time and time again, because you are correct. They settle far too often, but they settle because they've got a reliable kicker, right? I mean, inside the 40, you're going to get 3 points, but that's not how bad football teams steal wins. You are aggressive, but I don't think that the head coach, nor should he be confident in the offense executing in those tight spots. And I don't think he believes that they can get 3 yards.
I don't know. I mean, that 3rd and 3, I hated the play call, but that's neither here nor there. But again, I do think and Chargers
look,
would have won.
I think this is the best conversation, to be honest. And this is the state of the Titans. What type of money are you playing with? Are you playing with your reserves? Or are you playing with house money? And Facebook user, and I apologize for the software because I don't know who you are.
I'm trying to find it.
He says, I call BS, Zach. As a coach, you have cojones and you have nothing to lose. F that excuse. I'm not trying to create an excuse. I'm trying to create the reality of the situations that we've seen more often than not. So I'm trying to take a read on the decision-making of this particular football team in these particular situations. And what we've seen is when they've been aggressive, they've lost those hands. And so I feel like Brian Callahan is kind of maybe steps away from those, because he told you in the post-game press conference that I got a little ticked at, because we hear the same thing, is like he's telling us that field goals are not going to win games. Isn't that correct? Field goals aren't going to win games in this league. Well, at 2-6 at the time, then don't settle. Then just go rogue. Play with house money. But his actions aren't telling us that he's doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who's the former coach of the San Diego Chargers?
Brandon Staley.
How much did he play with house money? He no longer has a house. because he's fired, right? So like it can get you in trouble. And I think Brian Callahan is that aggressive conservative. He's trying to weigh that, but I think it stems from the lack of trust in Will Levis in this offense.
Yeah. And like we don't have time to get to our full Will Levis segment. Maybe Sam and I will do that tomorrow. But look, Will Levis was fine in this game, but I wanted more. He didn't make the catastrophic mistakes, but he also didn't make the plays to elevate. And the quarterback has to be able to do both of those things for his team to win, especially on the road. You got to be able to elevate your team and not make mistakes at the same time. And he wasn't able to do that. So
I want to say some positives real quick, because there's a lot of negatives in a bad team of how he handled Will Levis. And he held onto the ball a little too long at times, but you're going to get that from a rookie quarterback.
He's not a rookie.
It's
not a rookie. It's not a rookie.
Well,
do not call him a rookie. Do not call him a rookie. Higher standard. He's not a rookie.
Fair. I mean, yes, by the book, but they're treating him as like I think in my view,
coddling him.
My personal view, that's how I view him. Again, you could disagree. That's okay, because I know by the book he's not a rookie. But like for what he doesn't have anybody like Ryan Tannehill that is there. Like it's his team to lose, and they're treating him the same as other rookies. That's beside the point. Gets off into another conversation. But I like the fact that Brian Callahan put some designed runs in that got first downs. They used him like I think the Commanders have used Jaden Daniels early on. I looked at Jaden Daniels was a part of a couple of my bets yesterday. One of the research that I did yesterday morning when I woke up is something I was looking at is like over under rushing attempts for Jaden Daniels. Because I watched early on. I mean, you'd see 10 plus attempts from Daniels early on. He ran the ball against the Bucs, which was week 1, like over 15 times. It's crazy. And you've seen them start to ratchet that back because they value him in a different way. The Commanders do. So now, covertly, let's turn to Will Levis. It's kind of the opposite. They're just trying to see what Will Levis's skill set is. The problem is that this is 9-10 weeks into the season, right?
Yeah.
And they're playing him differently. And I think they're playing him a little bit more freely, but that also gets you the 7 sacks in a game. And that's what you're seeing.
All right. So on the rookie stuff, Facebook user that I don't know who this is, but maybe this is for their own benefit in this one. No, he is technically not a rookie. I don't care if he has played less than 17 games yet. He's played like 15 at this point. He is technically not a rookie. A rookie means it is your first year removed from your previous spot, like in college, your previous level. He is not a rookie. He is a second-year player.
What about Blake Griffin when he hurt his knee his rookie year, didn't play a game, and then won Rookie of the Year the following year?
He didn't. That's a different situation. He did not have.
I know. I'm
right?
just. I'm.
Like, that is.
You're getting into. We'll get into semantics of yes.
Okay,
I think we all agree he is not a rookie.
He's not a rookie. He played in one season. He had a full off season. And now he's playing in his second season. Is he an inexperienced quarterback? Sure, absolutely. But damn it, he is not a rookie. Stop calling him that and don't call him that. Anybody who's out there saying, oh, well, until you've played 17 games, you're not a rookie. No, go ask Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons lost the first 7 games of his rookie season through a torn ACL, and then he came back and played for his second year. Nobody was saying, oh, Jeff Simmons still a rookie. No, he's a second-year player. He's an inexperienced quarterback, but he's a second-year player. He had a whole offseason, guys. Stop calling him a damn rookie.
Yeah, I think the reason why we feel that way is because this is the season where they actually gave him the keys. Like last year, first year Tannehill had the keys. Fine. He took over, then he got hurt, then he came back, then he got hurt. Like there was so much movement last year where I think that's why it's viewed as such, is because they actually gave him the keys. He turned 16. All right, here you go, pal. Wreck it or rev it, And I think he's wrecked it so far. And Curtis, I think this is valuable. His skill set is chaos, and I'd say chaotic, right? To go a little bit further.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel when I watch him. Is there's some chaos now? In the Joker's word, chaos can be fun and exciting at times, but it also can be very damaging. And I think that's what Titans fans are experiencing within his chaos of watching him play football.
Yeah, if 17 games is the standard, then Jordan Love was a rookie in his third year in the NFL. No, he's not a rookie. Nobody called him a rookie in his third year. He's not a rookie. He's a second-year quarterback. If you want to call him a first-year starter, fine. If you want to call him an inexperienced quarterback, absolutely. But he's not a freaking rookie, guys. When you get off seasons, that allows you to grow. Off seasons are very important. Off seasons allow you to progress your game and grow as a player, regardless of your position.
Sometimes.
Also, when they're healthy, yeah. When they're unhealthy off seasons, sometimes you have stagnant or you go back. You don't get to progress. You have off seasons.
Well, do you think?
No
Okay, now let's talk about this. Do you think Will Levis, based on what you've seen, has grown? That's my point. I think the answer is no.
But that doesn't mean he's a rookie, though.
But you just said that it gives opportunity to grow, and I don't think we've seen much growth.
That just means he's not good. Doesn't mean he's a rookie. Just means he's not very good. Which I've been saying for 2 years. He's not good. He wasn't good in college. He's not good now. He's attractive, but he just doesn't live up to anything. He does cool things at times and then bad things most of the time. He's not good.
I think that the point is that you have to have growth, right? Josh Allen had growth to become what he was. Patrick Mahomes had growth to what he was. If you don't grow, you die, right? And I think Mac Jones didn't have growth, right? And he exterminated. So I think that's what we're seeing. And I think that's a very, very valuable question is, do you believe that Will Levis has grown from because he's not a rookie year 1 to year 2? And I think the answer is no.
Man, I just thought of something. You know what? A sneaky good long shot rookie of the year to come back and save the Dallas Cowboys is Trey Lance. Trey Lance is about to win rookie of the year, guys. If he takes over and they start Trey Lance to the Cooper Rush and the Cowboys make the playoffs, I mean, Jane Daniels, Trey Lance for rookie of the year, right? You see how stupid that sounds? You see how dumb that sounds? That's what people are saying.
Well, as a conspiracy, I think it probably aligns with what you're thinking because
All
the
right.
Cowboys are greater than the Commanders.
I mean,
right? So if
maybe
Trey Lance does win 5
there.
straight games,
you got a point. You got a point. You got a good point. All right, we got a lot of super chats, so let's get to some super chats. But real quick, T-Dot spends so much time and effort and money to keep littering off our streets and our roads, but Tennessee has over 88 million pieces of litter on our roadways now, and we need everybody to pitch in to keep Tennessee beautiful and end littering across Tennessee by joining T-Dot's campaign for Nobody Trashes Tennessee. That's nobodytrashestennessee.com to be part of the solution to end that littering, to find out how you can help out, how you can pitch in. There's local cleanups that are organized all across the state in your community. If you have a son or daughter who's trying to figure out how to get into some volunteer experiences, then this is a great one too, because all you have to do is go to nobodytrashestennessee.com, sign up and show up to a litter cleanup near you. There's also a lot of different ways to make lifestyle changes to help out as well. So join forces with T-Dot and go to nobodytrashestennessee.com.
A to Z Sports, we're powered by BetMGM. I'm going to star a comment real quick because I do think it's a quick, good topic that we're on. But I want to tell everybody about BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. They're the sportsbook born in Vegas, in Tennessee. You can get in on the action if you're in the state of Tennessee. Download the app today in your Apple or Android app store. BetMGM. They've got Monday Night Football tonight. Rams, Dolphins. We'll see how that plays out with Matthew Stafford and Tua. And ball night. It's NBA time too. So you got an opportunity with props and NBA being sprinkled all throughout the week. College football is heating up after a really good weekend of college football there over the weekend when big teams are playing. more better matchups better matchups are on the horizon. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right. Do you want to get to super chats or you want to go to your start comment?
Real quick, because I do think we compare like growth. Sam Kim says, Josh Allen after 15 starts, who thought he was elite? I thought Josh Allen's a unique situation because he had some rough times in his rookie year, but he excelled his rookie year to his second year. There was massive growth. I mean, just looking, and this is a broad brush, but year one versus year two, he had 10 touchdowns to 12 interceptions his rookie year, 20 touchdowns to 9 interceptions his sophomore year, his second year. So you could see that growth. That's the growth we're not seeing with Will Levis. Wanted to.
And Josh Allen had fumble issues too. I'm sure there was a lot of that in
overthrows
in that second year. But he showed growth, and you saw that the benefit outweighed the negative. He was a net positive. Josh Allen, net positive for the Bills, even when he was struggling and trying to figure things out.
Will Levis is net negative.
Yes, by about 8 turnovers
and
maybe more. And look, again, didn't turn the ball over yesterday, which is a step forward. That's progress in that side. Bradley says, let's talk about the inconsistent, stagnant offense. They got outscored 24-10 after a 7-3 lead they took. Yeah, they're not good. They're bad. That's pretty selfish.
That's Levis.
Yes. King VC says, lock in, like the show. Yeah, we need way more likes on the show right now. Facebook's having some goofy issues. Hopefully that gets fixed throughout the week. They're actively working on that. As we learned this morning. So hit that like button for us. Zachary says, wasn't Callahan hired to make the offense better, not worse? How did the previous coaching staff get more out of this dumpster fire? Derrick Henry.
I mean, I know what Zachary's saying there, but Derrick Henry covered so many flaws, right? I don't think that the Titans are a 2-win team if Derrick Henry's on the team. And as good as Tony Pollard's been. But I think their ceiling is much lower with Derrick Henry because you turn into a one-trick pony that we saw from so many years, right? You have a ceiling, and your ceiling is not Super Bowl. Now, if you have Lamar Jackson on the team, I think your ceiling.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is another, whose record changes more between the Ravens and Titans if Derrick Henry was on the Titans, not the Ravens? That's just a mind thing.
Yeah, there's some depth, but I do think that Titans fans are wanting to see why they hired Brian Callahan as an offensive-minded head coach.
Sure.
And we haven't really seen that.
Yeah, and I want to say the Titans before yesterday, maybe it was 2 straight games of over 400 yards of offense versus Detroit, and then against the Patriots. Again, they have not scoring enough touchdowns, but they're moving the football. When Mason Rudolph was in there, that's a little bit of proof. Zachary comes back and says Callahan with a weekly book report talking about his prepared statement at the beginning of his press conference. Richard says, I blame the secondary coach Steve Jackson for not doing play call that is supposed to be a sack. I think Mason Rudolph will start the rest of the season. I don't understand that. Maybe it's supposed to be a joke.
I don't think he will. I think they need to continue to go with Will Levis. So they pick. I mean, guys, they're trending to pick top 5. That means you're going to talk about these quarterbacks that, whether it's Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, real quick, because I'm not on the show as consistently as I was. The biggest, if you are a Shedeur Sanders guy, which would be my choice. The New York Giants are your worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to Eli Manning the absolute out of the Tennessee Titans. That's going to happen.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm Travis Hunter's not bad either. I'd take that. There's so many conversations we can get
and then
into.
Just kick the can.
There's a lot. You can do a lot worse. Darren says, honestly, really don't care about anything in the game but the 17 points. What's going on with the 17-point curse? It is crazy. It's like if the Titans were trying to play a game of like blackjack, but just a 17, they'd win. They're undefeated. It's like they don't bust. They don't bust in cornhole. Like they just hit 17 on the dot. If they don't hit 17, they hit 16. And you're like, oh, it's pretty freaking good.
Dealers got double face cards. That's the problem.
The problem is that's not the game they're playing. Bradley comes back, says second half collapse again should be the topic. Yeah, it kind of was. But bad teams flame out. That's the whole point. Bad teams can start hot and then good teams pull away. You look at any sport, any league, any level, that's how it goes. All right, Zach, let's go ahead and flip over to the age game. I've got something NFL related for you for the age game. Let's see if you get a dub here, but shout out to Wilson County Hyundai. They make it all happen for us and all of you guys as well. So go see them for your new car buying process in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. So the age game, Zach, no Googling. I'm going to have to be really, I'm going to have to be creative here and figure out if there's a Facebook winner. I'm going to have to do a good job of identifying who that is, but I will do my best for that. So Facebook, you have a chance. The age game, I will say a person's name. The first correct answer in the chat wins and goes on the leaderboard. We'll see if Zach can get this one. Yesterday, I thought the coolest thing that I've ever seen from an NFL referee was done when Sean Hockley announced that false start in German. I thought that was pretty badass, to be honest. So, Zach, how old is Ed Hockley?
Okay, so Sean looked to be in his 40s, young 40s maybe. So let's say Ed had older, maybe had him when he was younger. So let's add 20 years on it. So I think Ed's got to be in his 60s. Now, Ed is retired, so he may be a little bit older. Ed was the face of the NFL, so he probably gotten compensated fairly well, but that was back in the day when refs weren't compensated as well. Took care of his body, that's for sure, right? So maybe looked younger than he was. My gut, and this is where I'm learning, is like you just go with your gut. 68.
Your guess is 68. Ed Hockley. Okay.
I hadn't seen Ed in a while. That may be young.
I don't even know when he retired. All right, so 68 is your answer. Facebook, Bearded Kunos is 62. If I can click here, 62. Facebook user, 66. B-Birds on Twitch, 64. Mike Peck, 61. Jeffrey, 65. Facebook user, 65. Top tier, 76. DeMarco, 56. Steve, 54. Facebook user says 46. I think these must be Sean Hockley guesses. Yeah. David says 70. Curtis, 67. Titans Kyle, 66. Lucas with a 60. And we have a winner. Facebook user, 73. Which means I got to figure this out.
Young, too young. 73. So then now, while you're figuring that out, Sean Hockley is 46, 33 years old. So he had Sean when he was 33. I kind of guessed that he was younger, just based on like people having kids when they were younger. And now people have kids when they're older, I feel like.
He was going to drive me insane.
Just below the baby boomer. Now, here's another question. How many kids, and this I think is, oh God, how many kids do you think Ed has? This is where I messed up.
One? I don't know.
6. Ed's got 6 kids. So how do we find out family? Here we go. 6 children, 10 grandchildren. Sean is one of his sons.
Whoops.
But it doesn't say. out of the
All right.
6.
I figured it out. I figured it is Brad Anderson. I saw people from the chat saying Brad Anderson, but I had to go confirm myself. So Brad Anderson is the correct answer for the correct answer. Man, I really hope by next Monday they've got this thing figured out, because that was not easy.
Brad Anderson is
that a first time winner?
No, this is his second time.
Oh, nice.
Brad Anderson, 2-time champion. That was a good one because, I mean, if you look at however many people missed it.
Yeah, this Sam Kim. How did we come to talk about a ref? Is there a Tennessee connection? I guess just blatantly not paying attention at times. No, the age game. You pull something in from somewhat like relevant newsworthiness, and Sean Hockley called a false start in Germany yesterday in Germany, which I thought was cool. So I went to Ed Hockley. How old is that? Ed Hockley. Brad Anderson.
Brad Anderson, right there at the bottom, right below Randy, 2-time champion.
There you go. D Too Tall says, I don't even know who this is. And Greg says it's the first jacked ref. Yes. Like, so if anybody does not know who Ed Hockley is, the reason why such a high percentage of referees on TV have big arms is because of Ed Hockley.
Yeah. 2 of the most cerebral referees, Ed Hockley and the other guy that looked like Marvin Harrison.
Oh, the ref that looked like Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
Crap. What was that guy's name? Because he also retired. Oh, I'm not going to get it. David Bo.
And Google is not.
Jerome Boger.
What is his name?
Jerome Boger. Is that not who you're talking about?
No. Jerome Bogart didn't look like Marvin Harrison.
Oh, you're right. Different guy.
Now this is going to drive me nuts. Does the chat know who I'm talking about? Here, I think I got it. I can see it.
He was on, he spent time on a broadcast.
Mike Carey.
Mike Carey. Yeah.
Mike Carey.
Because Mike Carey was on a broadcast. He was one of the early broadcast analysts, and he was like too good. And so they got rid of him. Yeah, that was it.
Mike Carey.
Good call.
Carey. That's
good call. Good call, guys. All right. Well, you're 0 for 3 for the age game. So I keep extending this thing a little bit longer.
6 kids got me.
How did that get you? 6 kids didn't get you. You just missed it.
Well, no, because my thought process was influenced by the 6 children. Because I bet you Sean is like kid 4, not kid 1.
Sean Hockley is 46.
Yeah, I know. Ed had him when he was 33. So that's what I'm saying. I think that Ed had more kids prior to Sean. And that's where my thought process got messed up. So, regardless.
Yeah, I don't know. Sean got to start and call it an Arena Bowl before he got to the NFL. All right, that's it for us here on this Monday. We'll have press conference for the Titans coming up here in a bit, about 11:30, as they usually do on Monday. So we'll catch that. Sam will be live for A to Z Sports Primetime tonight, filling in for Buck. And Buck will be back tomorrow night on a Tuesday. So make sure you hit that like button. You like the show. We appreciate you guys. Content galore coming. Check it out, atozsports.com/Titans for all of our articles and our videos from the press conference today. So atozsports.com/Titans. We'll check you guys later on. Appreciate it as always.
Adios.